how has your month of May been? I hope it has been great. Mine has been pretty awesome, and I actually wanted to sit in front of a big beautiful like rose bush that we have out in our garden, because it always is so beautiful and it blooms around this time of year. Actually, my family calls it the Ingrid rose because it always blooms around my birthday, and it is right on time because it blossoms right now and my birthday is in a couple of days. So yeah, I wanted to sit in front of that because it would be a beautiful background, but it was so windy outside that you wouldn't be able to hear what I'm saying. But anyways, the first favorite of this month that I wanted to talk about is an event that happens every single year in the beginning of May, and it is Eurovision Song Contest. If you're not like from Europe, you probably don't know what Eurovision Song Contest is, but it is a song competition with mostly European countries, but we also have a couple of non-European countries competing as well. And all these countries, I think it was like around like 40 countries this year, sending an artist with a song to a big competition, and the like competition is held in the country who won the last year. So last year Israel won, so this like final like Eurovision Song Contest was in Tel Aviv, and it was such a great performance, like the whole show this year. So Israel was awesome at hosting, and the winner from this year's competition is the Netherlands. So next year is gonna be somewhere in the Netherlands, and I'm really excited. I actually have a friend living there, and I actually really wanna go like see the whole thing live because I've never been to Eurovision Song Contest like live before, so that would be pretty awesome. Maybe we can make that happen, we will see. But anyways, I think it's such a fun competition. I mean, I don't think you can compete with music really, but it's nonetheless, it's still fun because you have your own country, like the whole country comes together and like rooting. It's like football, you know, like you're rooting for your own country, and it's so fun to see like all the really like some really good songs and some pretty funny like entertaining performances. But I think that's the thing, to have really weird ones and have some really good ones, and it just like makes a really fun show, because trust me, there's been a lot of really weird songs and like people competing through the history of Eurovision Song Contest. But if you haven't seen the show before, you should really check it out because I think it's such a entertaining and fun thing to watch, especially like if you have your own country to root for. But I mean, if your country doesn't compete, it's still fun to watch. And I actually think the whole thing is up on YouTube, so you can watch the whole show if you want to. Anyways, my next favorite from this month is Peppermint Tea. And as I said before when I talked about teas, like I'm not really a huge tea drinker, but for some reason I started to drink peppermint tea now. I don't know, I had some peppermint tea in my cupboard, so I often like dehydrated, like I need to drink more. I'm like a raisin and so I try to force myself to drink a little bit more during the days. I don't like to drink cold water usually because I like to sip cold water, but if I'm gonna like, you know, gulp it down, I want to have it like lukewarm or warmer, like hot, like tea. So of course hot water doesn't taste really fun. So I had some peppermint tea in my cupboard, so I tried it and I really liked it. So I started to drink lots of peppermint tea this month, and yeah, I don't know what more to say about it. It tastes good. So the next favorite I want to talk about is a book that's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and it is a book that I've heard lots of people recommend and talk really highly about, and so I wanted to try it out, like to listen to it. I have dyslexia, so it's always been a big struggle for me to read, so I prefer listening to books and podcasts and things like that instead of reading the actual book. But I don't pay for like Audible or something like on my phone. I have this free app that I got from my library where I live, and that's awesome, you know, that they can give this out to people who needs it for free. But this, you know, site doesn't have all the books, so I can't really be that picky. But they did have The Power of Now, so I listened to it in Swedish, and I really enjoyed it. It was, to be honest, a bit hard to take everything in because it's kind of like a really deep book, but I did enjoy it. And as the title says, you know, The Power of Now, it's like you learn how to really live in the now instead of thinking too much about the future or dwell on the past, which I really am guilty of doing. I mean, I haven't stopped thinking about past things and future things, but this book really helped me to really, you know, get small glimpses during the day and really pay attention to the now, because I mean, I think lots of us really do think too much about the future and the past. So I learned a lot from this book, but I definitely feel like I need to read it again, like at least once or twice, because it's like you can't really be elsewhere like thinking about other things while reading it, whereas in my case listening to it, you really need to pay attention to what he's saying. And even though like you do, I probably would recommend it to like read it again, because you're gonna learn so much more and like take some other parts of it in if you listen to it a couple of times. So I'm definitely gonna have to listen to it again to, you know, take in some more information from it. So my next favorite is another weird food kind of, but it's like a weird combination for some people, I guess. But I tried to like roast a sweet potato, and you know, lots of people do this, like roast a sweet potato and then have some cinnamon and like banana with it, and it tastes really good if you want to try it. But I also, when I had like roasted the potato, and I just mashed the potato and then took some brown rice and mixed with it, and then some cinnamon and some cardamom, and mixed it all up, and then I had some like banana with it, and it tastes really good. I mean, what can I say? It sounds really weird, and my sisters refuse to try it, but I promise you, it tastes really good. I mean, it doesn't taste like a chocolate dessert, but it's really good. Like if you want to have some like a really filling breakfast and you are bored of oatmeal, I can really recommend you to try it. And I also seen people use like cacao powder if you want to have a little chocolatey flavor. But yeah, it's like a really healthy dessert if you want to have it as a dessert. But I mean, I would have it like a snack or like breakfast or something. We can eat for lunch or dinner, I don't know. Last month I talked about Healthy Emmy and her YouTube channel, and this like past month I've just like, as soon as she, you know, posts on YouTube, I'm like there watching it straight away. But I also went to Facebook, to her Facebook group, and you know, became a member of that Facebook group. And it's really helpful to have lots of other people, you know, posting there like a lot of tips and ideas on like meals to make and, you know, recipes, and just have, you know, a community. And also like WSLF, the same there. It's nice to see lots of recipes and tips from other people who eat kind of the same way. So check those out if you're interested in eating like a whole food plant-based diet. So I wanted to mention a podcast this month as well. And this month's podcast is Rich Roll, and I think his podcast was like the first podcast I ever listened to when I first became vegan, which is like almost 5 years ago. I don't know how long he has been, you know, doing his podcast, but I think it's longer than 5 years. And his podcast was like the first podcast I started to listen to, and I really enjoyed it. And then I, you know, found some other podcasts that I listened to, and you know, paused his one for a while, but now I'm back again and listening to some of his episodes. He's like a plant-based athlete, and his podcast, like lots of his episodes is like really like health focused. So it's like not only like physical health and like training and food, but you know, mental health and, you know, just evolving and getting you to like the next level. I just think he's an awesome guy and he has an awesome podcast. So if you're interested to listen to a new podcast and I haven't heard his, go and check it out. So my last favorite of this month is just explore your surroundings, and in my case exploring Stockholm, because even though I'm living like just a 40-minute train ride from Stockholm, I am rarely in Stockholm. I don't know, just because, you know, you grow up really close to Stockholm, it's like it has lost its appeal, kind of. I mean, I would love to go back to Rome and to London and, you know, all these other cities and like just walk around on the streets and enjoy, you know, the city and just explore like new things. You don't have to do like specific things, just like walk on the streets and see the beautiful buildings and just feel the like the culture and like the people. I don't know, I just love going to new cities. But you know, as most of us do, like we kind of forget to explore our own city and our, you know, surroundings where we live. And I definitely had done that with Stockholm. So I actually think the last time I was in Stockholm was like during the winter, sometime like in December, when my friend Alyssa came to visit from America and we wanted to show her around Stockholm. Of course it was like December and miserable, like really freaking cold, and I just wanted to go back home. But now when the weather has been awesome and really warm and sunny and beautiful, my sisters and I have been going to Stockholm actually quite frequently. I've been there like 5 times in this month, I think. That's a lot for being me, and I actually really enjoyed it. You know, a couple times went in to check out the secondhand stores to shop a little, but also a couple times we just went in there to just walk around. For example, yesterday Sigrid and I went to Stockholm and we walked to like a neighborhood where we've never been before. Like I've been living here my whole life and I've never seen that part of the city. I mean, I'm sure I can go in there every single day for the, you know, next year. I'm still not gonna be able to see everything. So, and it was like the most beautiful day, and we just sat there by the water and had a picnic, and it was just perfect, a perfect day. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to, you know, go out and explore your surroundings, because I'm sure there are places and things you haven't seen or done where you live, and otherwise just come to Stockholm because it's beautiful here. So yeah, that's all my favorites from this month, and as always, please let me know in the comments down below what your favorites has been from this month, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hej då!